Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. It was another great week of college football. We saw two amazing streaks end with Kansas snapping their 46-game road losing streak with a win over Central Michigan, and then we saw Kentucky go on the road in the swamp and snap their 31-game losing streak to Florida. 31 straight games, and they went on the road and snapped it in the swamp. I couldn't think of a better way for Kentucky to snap that losing streak, especially in year one of the Dan Mullen era. So congratulations to both Kansas and Kentucky for snapping their super long losing streaks. We saw a thriller down in College Station with Clemson, the number 2 team in the country, surviving in a 28-26 victory. There was that very controversial touchback call, but Texas A&M still got their chance to tie, scored a touchdown, but just missed out on getting the 2-point conversion, falling 28-26. And then we saw a major upset out in the desert with Herm Edwards getting his first signature win as head coach with the Sun Devils, upsetting Michigan State with a game-winning field goal as time expires. So the Sun Devils are potentially on the rise nationally and in the Pac-12. So all in all, it was a very exciting week 2 of college football. We're going to preview or recap how we did on our predictions. And now that week 2 is over, we can now look at the teams trending up and trending down. So in week 2, we went a very solid 46-9, which is, if you round up, 84%, 83.6%. Obviously, it's better than what we had last year or last week. So I was very pleased with this week. Hopefully, we're going to continue to improve as the season goes on. Overall, we are now 91-19 straight up, which is 82.7%. 83 if you round up, and like we've said before, the goal is to hopefully beat our 76% last year. That was at the end of the season. We were 76% straight up. Obviously, the goal is to be 75% or better, and obviously we have that right now. Obviously, a little ways to go, but 83% is a very, very solid start. 91-19 overall. Against the spread, not our best week, and you know you can't against the spread. Obviously, much harder than straight up. Anybody that does it knows that. I know it. 5-7, 41.7%. It's not our best week, but with some of these upsets that we did have, it just didn't go our way. And like I said, I'm usually predicting around 10 to 12 games against the spread per week. I'm not predicting every game, so you're not going to see huge numbers there. That brings our against the spread overall to 22-17, which is 56.4%. And I would think our goal around there would hopefully be about 55% or better. Anytime you're above, I think 500 against the spread, I think that's fairly solid because you're making money. You're below it, you're losing money. 500, you're going to break even. So hopefully you're going to be above 500 against the spread. That's where we are right now, and obviously have a ways to go if we're going to go below that. So, like I said, not our best week. Had some crazy upsets. You look at those 9 losses. One thing that sticks out, you had Purdue losing at home to Eastern Michigan, 20-19. So that's a major upset. I had Arkansas beating Colorado State, and they blew an 18-point lead, led 27-9, losing that game. So that's 2 losses right there out of our 9 that probably should have gone our way. A couple of these upsets, I had Michigan State winning over Arizona State. That didn't happen. I had Florida beating Kentucky. That didn't happen. So it was a wild week. So a couple of those losses hopefully or wish had gone our way, just didn't fall. But that's the beauty of college football. Not everything's going to go your way. It's extremely unpredictable. But right now, I think we're doing a fairly solid job at predicting, doing the best that we can. And as always, like I've said before, we're doing the best we can as well with the setting that we are in, with the surroundings that we have, and the resources that we have. So, like I said, you're going to see multiple settings and backgrounds over the course of this college football season, and just bear with us. But as always, the content is going to stay the same, and we're going to continue to bring you some of the best college football content on YouTube. Teams trending up. I said that we were going to start doing this after week 2, and starting next week, so at the end of week 3, we will start doing our Heisman Watch as well. We'll continue to do our recaps and our teams trending up and trending down over the course of the entire season. Right now, we've got Colorado, and these teams aren't in any order. They're not. This is the team trending up the most and to least. But right now, I've got Colorado sitting up here. Very impressive job with what Mike McIntyre has been doing with his Buffaloes team. 2 years ago, got them to the Pac-12 championship game. Last year, falling just short of a bowl game. This year, annihilating Colorado State in their season opener, and then going on the road and spoiling Scott Frost's debut as Nebraska's head coach. That game on the road for Colorado. They went on the road and upset Nebraska, who was just 3.5-point favorites, but still went on the road, spoiled that debut for them, and they are now 2-0. So they have a solid chance of really making some noise in the Pac-12, much like they did 2 years ago. I believe, Colorado making a bowl game this year, but not starting off this strong. I had Nebraska winning that game over the Buffalo. So credit to this Buffalo's team. Maybe we'll see another miracle year like we saw 2 years ago. They're certainly playing like it. You've got Arizona State here, also 2-0, and a lot of credit to Herm Edwards. I was super excited for that hire when I heard about it. A lot of people were a little scared about it. I was a little scared about it, but I was excited to see him back on the sideline. He got that signature win over a very, very, I think, good Michigan State team. Obviously hasn't shown it this year, barely escaping Utah State and then going on the road to the desert and losing to the Sun Devils, but a very solid start for Herm Edwards and the Sun Devils team. They could really make some noise in the Pac-12 this season. They are now nationally ranked number 23 in the country. Can't afford to overlook that San Diego State game, though, in Week 3, but right now he has them on the right track, and if you watch the Arizona State game, I believe it was Greg McElroy that said Arizona State has been a sleeping giant. It just needed someone to wake it up, and Herm Edwards may have been that guy, and right now it is certainly looking like that. You have Kentucky down here, like I just mentioned, snapped that 31-game losing streak to Florida. They're 2-0 and maybe have the potential to start 5-0 on the season. They don't have a road game until October 6th. So they have about 3 straight home games. I believe that's coming against Murray State, which should be a win. So they should be 3-0 after Week 3. Then you've got Mississippi State and South Carolina. I believe those are the games that they have over the course of September. So there is a chance that Kentucky could be 5-0 going into October, and you can make the case that Kentucky might be the biggest threat to Georgia in the SEC East. You know, we assumed it would be Florida, assumed it might be South Carolina, maybe even Missouri, but South Carolina's effort against Georgia was pitiful, especially with the home crowd. That was another game we missed. Yes, I was wrong on that. And I take the blame for that, absolutely. But it was a pitiful effort by the Gamecocks, and Georgia just annihilated them. So there's a chance that if Kentucky beats Mississippi State, beats South Carolina, they might be a legitimate threat, or the biggest threat. I wouldn't say legitimate, biggest threat to Georgia in the SEC East. But 2-0, winning their season opener, beating Florida in the swamp, that's a pretty big deal. They are worthy of being on the trending upboard. And then Duke, another team that I had about 6-6 on the year. Solid win over Army in their season opener. Then went on the road against Northwestern. Got a key win there, 21-7. Didn't allow any points in the second half, but neither did Northwestern. But nonetheless, getting a key win over a solid Northwestern team that went on the road and beat Purdue in Week 1. They're now 2-0. Duke has a road game against Baylor, so that would be another solid win. 2 Power 5 opponents that they could win, both being on the road. So big game coming up for the Blue Devils. David Cutcliffe, though, doing a great job with his team as always. Teams trending down. Start off here with North Carolina, and obviously things have not gone well for Larry Fedora and the Tar Heels this season. They started off 0-1, losing to California. That was a game to be expected. I expect them to lose that game, but you really can't make excuses, and there's really no way to explain the loss this past week to East Carolina, a team that in Week 1 lost to North Carolina A&T. Yes, North Carolina had people suspended. Yes, maybe they've had injuries or whatever. You can make excuses, but North Carolina is 0-2. They have a game against Central Florida coming up in Week 3. That's a very solid chance that's going to be another loss for them. They could be 0-3. Keep in mind, last year they were 3-9. So they are certainly a team trending down. Things are not looking good for them. Purdue, starting off 0-2. You lost to Eastern Michigan at home. Come on, man. They lost 20-19. They nearly beat Northwestern. Had it not been for that stupid penalty late in the game, where they threw down the player after the whistle was blown, they may have had a chance to win or tie that game. It's in overtime. So Purdue is just beating themselves, I feel like, this season. And Jeff Brom has to get something going here for the Boilermakers if they want to even make a bowl game. I had them starting off 2-0, beating Northwestern Eastern Michigan. The Northwestern game is a toss-up. They should at least be 1-1, but they're 0-2, so they've got some work to do. They're certainly trending down. Florida State have them trending down despite being 1-1. You got to think about this. They lost to Virginia Tech at home, 24-3, in the first game of the Willie Taggart era at home. That's embarrassing. Then they almost lost to Samford. You go look at the score. Anybody that didn't watch that game will say, oh, they beat them by 10. Samford led the entire game, pretty much up until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then Samford was once again driving, down by just a field goal, driving down the field to potentially tie or win until they threw a 63-yard pick six that got Florida State up by 10. So Willie Taggart has a lot of work to do with this Seminoles team, who got annihilated by Virginia Tech at home, didn't even score a touchdown, and then almost lost to Samford, the FCS school, at home. Things are not looking good for Florida State. This is something we haven't seen out of Florida State in a very, very, very long time. So they are trending down despite being 1-1. They have a major trap game on the road against Syracuse, a team that's putting up some major offensive numbers. Let me tell you, Florida State can't shut down Samford. I don't know if they're going to be able to shut down Syracuse with that game being on the road. And I know people are already calling for Willie Taggart's head. I get that, and it's understandable. They want him out already. It's only 2 games in, but it's been a pitiful performance and a pitiful start for the Seminoles. He definitely has a lot of work to do with his Florida State team. Got them trending down. And another new coach that is definitely struggling, Kevin Sumlin in Arizona, 0-2 with the Wildcats, losing to BYU in the season opener, 28-23. That's okay. BYU's a decent team. Then they go on the road and lose to Houston. They lost to Houston, I believe it was 45-18. Khalil Tate, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 interceptions through the air, but no passing touchdowns. Khalil Tate was one that many thought could be a Heisman frontrunner this year, and he has very much struggled this season. They are 0-2. They need to really pick things up if they want to try to compete in Pac-12 play. They still are eligible to make a run in the Pac-12 because of their 2 losses are non-conference, but obviously got a lot of work to do there. Horrible start for someone and Khalil Tate. So hopefully they can start turning things around. There are obviously more teams I could put on trending up, trending down, but we usually try to keep it around 4 or 5 teams each week. And this is what we've got this week. So another solid week, 46-9 straight up. Not so much against the spread, but that will obviously improve next week. Hopefully week 3 will live up to the hype and will continue to be as exciting as week 1 and week 2 both have been. And we are certainly looking forward to it. So stay tuned later on this week for our week 3 preview, where we preview the biggest games and share some predictions and potential prediction changes for this upcoming week. And that's going to continue over the course of the entire season. So as always, please go check us out on Twitter at Gridiron Expert. We're going to make sure to put those links in the description below, so make sure you go check those out on Instagram at The Gridiron Expert. And always here on YouTube, please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.